Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ & Sons and a new coaching dynasty here on College Football 26, where we are going to be following Coach Travis Ray Steeleman as he starts out his career as an offensive coordinator, taking over for LeVar Ogden of the Texas Longhorns. Now, he got a call shortly after Sarkisian heard a rumor from our old coach at South Texas Big River University that from Just Incredible that our old quarterback Travis Ray Steeleman, who led us to two conference championships, a Big 12 championship, Conference USA, 3 trips into the playoffs, 2 semifinal appearances, was looking for a coaching job. And now, knowing the style of play that he had, being a pass first, but very athletic, very mobile, willing to run an option, also really good off motion plays, it seemed pretty fitting that Sark would call him to come help out with Arch in his first full season as a starter. Now, Arch has played before, but it's good to have someone that knows your play style, knows the best way for you to operate, and really has been successful doing what he does. And so he brought in Steeleman to become the offensive coordinator for the Texas Longhorns here. And so that is where we are going to be getting his coaching career started. How long will he be here? I don't know. We'll have to see how things shape out. Now, I did list his alma mater as Texas just because it was our Team Builder series from College Football 25, so it was not available. And so we do have him being a little bit more aggressive on the offensive side, but still wanting to be fairly balanced because that's the way a lot of these motion plays work. You got to be able to run the ball for, the quick motions to throw off the defense, for them to have to keep an eye on the running back. You also have to be able to throw the ball for them to bite on those passes and to really kind of avoid the running back. You got to be going pretty even across the board and pretty solid in all ways. Now, we are getting Steeleman built up here. I do have him listed as muscular at first, and then fat is kind of funny. Thin is more likely what he would be coming off of a college football career. Never going to the NFL, never trying to. Wanting to remain in Texas to be around his grandfather, which is why he went to South Texas Big River anyways. So here we are getting him built up. And this looks kind of like a guy who left college football and maybe didn't achieve everything he wanted to achieve and has got a little grudge about him. He kind of has that appearance with him, with the pulled up sleeves and all that fun jazz. So that is how he is going to be made up. The offensive style, we're going to stick with Texas's playbook because they do have a bunch of pre-snap motion. They do also have a lot of play action. That we're going to have to kind of see how that shapes out. We are starting off with their playbook. Eventually, we will move over to creating our own, which is really just going to be adding some plays and removing some plays out of this one to see how things work out. Now, we are being given only a 2-year contract. And that's kind of interesting just for the simple fact that, as an offensive coordinator, I guess as a coordinator, that would kind of make sense. Show us what you can do. You got a couple years to make things happen, to have some form of improvement and so forth. So I guess that does make sense. Now, a lot of people this year are going with motivator, and I know it's because they kind of nerfed recruiter, but I like recruiter. That's just what I feel is best. And let's face it, if you can't recruit, you can't win in college football. Even those who do recruit don't always win in college football still. But we are going to look to build up recruiter. And I don't know if I'm going to go recruiter and motivator or recruiter and tactician. Oddly enough, I'll probably go recruiter and tactician. Let's get the best players and then let's know how to use them correctly. That's what we're going to do. Now, we did obviously pre-order, so we got the 100 little points there. So I went on ahead and just hammered into the recruiter segment just because we need to get those built up. And we need to be able to get started with our feet on the ground and run it here in Austin. Now, looking at the schedule, I'm not going to change anything up with the conferences right now. I'm going to keep the schedule as it is for this first season going into future seasons. Yeah, we are going to change it. I'm going to give the SEC divisions because I hate that they don't have them. I'm going to give them the divisions. All the conferences pretty much that have enough teams are going to have divisions in them, kind of moving forward from here. Now, our schedule, it's the same pretty much as last season, especially conference game-wise, but I think it's a little bit more difficult. One, just because of the number of road games that we have in conference, whether, traveling to Georgia, traveling to Florida, those kind of games are going to be pretty dang tough. And then also starting the season on the road against Ohio State, like, why do we have to be those kind of Why do we have to be those kind of people? But we are. We're in the SEC. Let's do what every other team does. Play 4 powder puffs, get our winning record, and move on. But no, we're going to start out against Ohio State. Why not? Semifinal rematch from last season, even though technically this game was on the schedule for a few years now. Minor detail, folks. Minor detail. Now, taking a look at the recruiting. So we have 1,125 hours. So I want to get a good number of recruits. I'm going to try to avoid the 3 stars as much as possible being at Texas, right? You're in one of the top programs in the country. 5 stars and 4 stars are really what you need to be at. Now, I don't like growing after guys that are, say, like, we're number 8 on their interest. I will do it. Don't get me wrong. I will definitely do it. But I don't think that I want to spend that much time. We got to get these guys, signed and committed early. And so I do stick to a lot of the people that we are ranked first on. That's why you'll see me sort a lot of the times by interest. I do it by rating and by interest primarily when it comes to recruiting. And because one, I don't want to have to spend so many points on everybody. Like once we do become a head coach, we're probably going to have to be a head coach at a smaller program. We're not going to have as many points. So I need to be able to kind of build up our recruiting numbers so we can scout everybody quicker, but also really get a good handle on spreading these points out. I want to take advantage right now while I can. See what impact it does. What is the difference between sending the house versus the contact friends and family? The 50 points versus 25. What is the real actual impact on recruiting a player? How much improvement is seen on the 50, on the send the house versus the 25? So we're going to take this time because we've got a major name brand program, and kids are going to want to be recruited by us and come to our school. Downside is a lot of these kids are good enough. They're going to be recruited by your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Floridas, your LSUs, your Ohio States, and all that fun jazz. But I think we'll have a opportunity to win some of these recruiting battles. That's why, like I said, I don't want to spread myself too thin because I know we're going to have to be in some fights for some recruits. We're going to have to fight off some teams to try to come in and snag some recruits. But here I'm adding a 3-star punter. I said it's a punter for God's sake, so calm down when I say I don't want to add that. 3 stars. It is a punter for God's sakes. Now, looking at free safety, they do say we need 3 of them. I'm going to try to get as many, 4 stars and 5 stars. But the simple fact is, as far as the interest goes, there's not that many within our top 4 that are 4 and 5 stars. So I will at this point. You notice I went on ahead and recruited Costanzo. Not Costanzo. We are 8th on his interest. He's a 5-star free safety, but I think sometimes you just got to make those changes and go for stuff like that. So now I want to add in a couple more big 5-star recruits. These are the reaches, right? I talked about going after some of those ranked 8th, ranked 9th, 7th, and all that stuff. And also, I know we don't need receivers, but my God, if you can get yourself a 5-star top-of-the-line receiver, why not go for it at least? And so we had Bostic, we had Wood onto the list. Now Kevin Barnes is going to be labeled as an athlete. He's got a lot of potential as well. So I think we are setting ourselves up pretty decently here on the recruiting path. Now throughout the season, I think we are going to have to get rid of some of these guys because I think, everybody knows how the recruiting battle goes. You're not going to win every single recruit as much as you may like to. So we're going to have to let go of some of these guys throughout the season. But, it's one of those it is what it is kind of situations, having to do that. So we do have our board pretty much filled out. 34 out of 35. I mean, do I have to have 35? No. I don't have to have 35. But So we got, like I said, 1,125 hours. Now, we're going to go ahead and offer every single one of these guys a scholarships. And at 34 recruits, 5 points, what is that, like 170? 170 total recruiting hours. So we're going to have to go through and change and do some scouting, which at least we'll be able to scout a pretty good number of guys. Now, Dennis Selleck, we already broke a deal breaker of his. Let's see, he's a will linebacker out of Scottsdale. Playing time needs a B, and we have a C. Because there's a pretty good chance he probably won't be playing immediately. So I guess I'll give him that. So we boot him off to the side real quick. Give him the old boot before we end up offering or even recruiting him. Scouting him even more. So fewest points to be used on him. Not that big of a deal. Really no points used on him. And now Oscar Hare comes in, 4-star wide receiver, automatic commit. Now, just because they do auto commit doesn't mean they're going to stay with you. If you start to screw up in the season or really start changing how you operate and all this stuff, and you end up going against one of their deal breakers, they will decommit from you in a heartbeat. So don't think just because he's an auto commit that, man, we got him locked up for the season, we're good to go, because that's just not always the case. Now, I do have 2 quarterbacks, 2 4-stars, Caesar and Atogwe. You'll see that thinking, well, you got Arch, you got Woods and all that stuff coming up from behind. Why are you recruiting quarterbacks? Because you can never have too many, for God's sake. This is college. You know, you can never have too many quarterbacks. So that's kind of what I was thinking in that one. Now, finishing off our list, Mr. Fullback, Sua Officer. 3-star. Do offer him a recruit just because I do need a fullback, and sometimes I don't mind it if we use a tight end, which we'll probably have to at some point. But if I can get a good blocking fullback, might as well take advantage. So now we're going to do some scouting here. Darren Lutman on the right tackle. 83 pass block power, 78 run block. You know, these 5-star recruits are kind of crazy looking with their numbers. Now, I'm going to cut through some of these guys here in like the top 5 to 10. But primarily, I'm going to stick with scouting the offensive players. We are the offensive coordinator. We are going to scout the offensive players. That's pretty much how it's going to go. But I do kind of want to see what these guys have available because I think, you know, we'd be interested just for the simple fact that these could be some of the phenomenal athletes like Brian Acey, right edge, number 1 in his state, number 2 in his position, 4 nationally. Brody Schwartz coming in as a linebacker as well, out of Kansas City, number 1 in the state, number 7 nationally, number 2 in the position, and for some reason he's not a gem. He's got robber abilities, clear-headed, and the natural mentals. He's 85 pursuit, 79 zone coverage, which for a will linebacker is pretty damn impressive. 81 strength, 79 speed. I guess for him to be true pass coverage, you'd have to have it be a little bit higher. But overall, this kid's not. I mean, those are pretty damn good ratings. I don't know why they've got him as a non-gem, but hey, it is what it is. Now, Kai Block, halfback for us out of San Antonio, Texas. 85 changing. 85 speed is a little nerve-wracking. I wish it was higher up. But with a 79 juke move, 74 vision, 78 break tackle, he's got potential. Maybe not, obviously, his freshman year. He'll have to be developed a little bit before he really steps onto that field. And I think he's got definite game breaker potential. Jaleel Redwine, 90 speed, 84 catching traffic, and 89 spectacular catch. This is a goal line beast, all right? You throw him that 50-50 ball, he's going to come down with it. Malachi Tranquil, 84 speed. I don't really like that. 79 catching, 83 deep route. You know, you compare these two guys, and Tranquil pretty much drops off the face of the earth compared to Redwine. So, here we go with some more of the offensive guys. Zaire Mallory out of Simi Valley, California. 77 run block, 68 awareness. I wish that was higher. 83 run block finesse, 74 pass block. I mean, he is 4-star. It'll be interesting to see where we fit him in at, how he develops, but I think he's got potential over some time. Now, Brett Tyree, 77 run block, 80 run block power. The run finesse, we're not going to mention that. Pass block power, 80. Strength at 94. Now, this kid's got some capability. That kid can be a hog molly any day of the week. Shaq Avril is 82 run block power, 83 run block finesse. Now, he's someone we could use because we like to run the ball. Especially get yourself a little pull and guard, get him moving a little bit. Woo, that could be dangerous. Same thing, you get him and Kyrie Brazil going together, pulling together. I pity the guys on the defense as these two beasts turn the corner and you hear their steps coming at you. So, Matthias Caesar, I'm going to go Caesar because that's not spelled like Caesar the pizza. He is going to be a gem of a recruit. 95 throw power, 76 deep accuracy, and 78 speed. The kid can move with 84 acceleration. But I love the throw power, short accuracy, and medium at 83. He doesn't get away from tackles very much. So 57 break sack. But I don't think he gets hit all that much either. Dave Atagwe coming out of San Bernardino. 86 throw power, 75 short and medium accuracy, but he's got 81 speed with the 77 break sack, and he's 78 under pressure. This kid's been chased around a little bit in his high school career, and I think it does show. Now, some more of the hog mollies. Who's going to be protecting possibly Caesar or Atagwe right there? Julius Barmore. 65 run block, 81 run block finesse. That's kind of interesting that his run block is so low, but the finesse is that high. The punter, I'm not going to worry about scouting him. I'm just going to offer him a scholarship, see how he reacts. Adonis Bostic, wide receiver out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, coming in 86 speed, but 92 acceleration, which is a positive. 79 medium route, 82 short, and 77 deep with an 86 release. The kid's got capability. I just don't know if he's got the game breaker capability that we want, on the outside for us. That's something we're going to have to look at. George Wood, speedster, wide receiver out of Raleigh, North Carolina, 93 speed, 89 acceleration, 82 catching traffic, and 83 catching. I really do like that. Short route, it's odd that it's so much lower than medium and deep route, but hey, I'll take it with an 89 spectacular catch. Yeah, that kid's a deep threat for sure. Kevin Barnes out of Norco, California, and not a gym, but I don't see why not. 90 spectacular catch, 75 deep route, 82 catching, 89 speed. Yeah, I think coming in at 6'5", he's another goal line guy. He's 6'5" for God's sakes. All right, you throw it 11 feet in the air, I'm willing to bet you the kid can catch it. So you got capability to put up a lot of points with someone like Barnes, with some other guys like Bostic, with some a lot of the talent that we do have here that we're trying to acquire, especially in the wide receiver room. Got some big capability. So let's go take a look at scouting some of these defensive guys just because we do have the hours available. Might as well use them up. Austin Dieter, a defensive back from Reading, Pennsylvania. 90 speed, 93. See, he's got some pretty good stats, but man coverage is 74. Not a fan of that. Zone coverage 79, I can deal. I do like a lot of zone anyways. So it is kind of what it is in that sense. Jaleel Hoos, 91 acceleration, 76 awareness, 85 pursuit, 79 zone coverage. 79 tackle and zone, 78 hip power. This kid's got potential. Once again, I don't know if he's going to be a game breaker kind of linebacker, but he does have definite potential. Now, Quan Gallimore, 6'2", 183 pounds, out of Kansas, number 6 in the state defensive back. He's got 66 awareness, which makes me nervous. 85 speed, 68 tackle. I'm going to give him a shot to see, but I don't know if he's going to be worth it. Now, Mateo Swift coming off the right edge there, 78 strength, 86 finesse moves. That's a pretty big one, I think. 79 tackle, 79 pursuit, but 86 finesse moves. Now, block shedding, 65. So as long as you can get them out there in space where the lineman can't actually grab a hold of them, put their hands on them, I think you'll be fine in that sense. And now looking at from Louisville, Texas, Keyshawn Countess, 6'1", 310-pound Jim, 89 strength, 82 acceleration for a defensive tackle, 72 block shedding. I do like 83 hit power. Now 76 pursuit's going to be kind of interesting for him. Now let's continue to move on down this list. Larry Spriggs, defensive back out of South Lake, Carroll, old home of Quinn Ewers, 6'2", 181 pounds, 91 speed, 93 acceleration. I like having speed on that defensive secondary. To get someone like him's got a lot of potential there. So next one is going to be Alexander Hurt. What a great name for a linebacker coming out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Number 8 in the state, 40 in the position, and he is a 4-star Jim with 85 speed, 79 strength. I like 72 play recognition, though. That's a big one. 75 hit power, 81 pursuit. This kid has got capability, I think, to chase some people down. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Josh Martinez as well, coming out of Carthage, Texas. He is going to be 6'1", 212-pound will linebacker, 81 speed, 78 strength, 73 play recognition, but 83 hit power, 79 tackle, and 75 zone coverage. This kid can take up a lot of the field, I will say. Now looking at Isaac Linder, we are number 2 on his list. I want to see what he's all about. 92 strength, 78 speed, 80 pursuit, which is pretty good for a defensive tackle, and he's a gem. 79 acceleration, my goodness. Can you imagine having someone like him with the rest of our defensive guy? If we can get a lot of these recruits, what that's going to do for the defense, we're going to make the defensive coordinator look like dang old Bill Belichick providing him these kind of players, for God's sakes. Dante Clinton in the free safety spot. We didn't get to scout him all the way. Ran out of points. That happens, right? But this was just basically the preseason. So just looking at the scouting, that's about all we can do there. Now, we do actually have to add some points onto these characters. And after the initial recruiting, Malachi has reached, we are number 1 as we level up to become a level 2 coach. We've got so far about 15 players willing to transfer just by the play style right now. And, maybe we'll be able to persuade them, maybe not. Guys like Niblett who aren't seeing the field all that much, there's not much I can do about that at this point, especially when you have people like CJ Baxter in our backfield. Come on now. Let's take a look at actually adding some points. We got 900 points spread between 33 players. We're probably not going to keep all 33, obviously, so I think we should be able to give a pretty good mix of some high point values. Mainly, I want to, these top guys, I want to hammer them home. Brian Acey, I'm going to send the house. We're number 2. We have moved up on his list, but we are currently number 2. I want to see if we can't climb to that number 1 spot. Brody Schwartz, Ohio State's number 1. So I'm not going to give him everything. I'm going to wait to see what happens after we play Ohio State at the beginning of the season. I think if we can put up a good enough performance, we'll kind of change his mind on that one. Austin Dieter, we are number 3. He's a Big Ten kid coming out of Reading, Pennsylvania. He's going to be hard to snag, so I'm not going to pour everything into him. I just want to see, once again, what happens when we play Ohio State. What happens after we beat them? What is the impact of winning these games going to have on some of these guys that have Ohio State before us? You know what I mean? So just keep a watch on them. Tranquil, we're still number 1. Kansas is coming up. I want to add some separation. God forbid we lose somebody to Kansas. Jaleel Hose, number 4. Oregon, BYU, and Oklahoma State have overtaken. They kind of moving around their position. Him, I'm going to test out. He's the number 1 guy, 4th interest for us, but he's basically one of the top players in the country. I'm going to see what happens within the house. What kind of impact does that have? That'll help me kind of know what to do with some of these other recruits that we're going to be in fights for, such as Mateo Swift with LSU. The kid's from Grand Prairie, Texas. Why is he? Austin's better than Baton Rouge, you know what I'm saying? Zaire Mallory coming in right tackle. We are first. I'm not going to add everything to him. Countess, I'm going to have to watch for. I am going to put everything on. I want to add some separation between us and Alabama. This kid is drawing in a bunch of attention, so I'm going to have to keep a watch on that. Spriggs and Hurt, we've dropped. They're out. I mean, it sucks getting rid of a linebacker named Alexander Hurt, but we dropped. I've got enough points. I just need to be sure to be smart with them, so I'm going to go ahead and get him out of the way. Brett Tyree, the right guard, coming up. We are first on his interest level. A lot of this is going to be kind of trying to see what impact these things have. Now, this kid is out of Lake Forest, Illinois, Isaac Linder, the defensive tackle. I want to see if I can't overtake him. Maybe send the house. Maybe it's got enough force to do it. Maybe it doesn't, but we're definitely going to see. Kyrie Brazil, I'm going to do the contact friends and family. One, because we are first, right? So I think we probably should stay that way, assuming we perform. So now all we got to do is actually just perform with some of these guys, and I think we'll be pretty good to take that kind of over. Now, Cesar, we're going to give him the full 50 as a quarterback, see if we can't bring him in. Togway, I kind of want to see what happens. We're first already in his board, but I want to see what he does. I want to see his initial reaction, so I'm not going to give him anything. And if it's one of those where he just drops off, then we can know we can go ahead and get rid of him. As we look down this list, we're moving up. So Barnes, we weren't in his interest rating at all before, really, so I do go ahead and send the house because we already moved up to being first after offering him a scholarship. George Wood, we're in second place. Once again, it's a constant thing of movement. Gil Atogwe battling with Georgia, his home state. He's out of Fayetteville, Georgia. It's going to be interesting to see if we can't grab him. Adonis Bostic out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. A lot of top teams going after that kid too, but we are number one. So once again, I want to see what we can kind of do. Dante Clinton. You know, they want to try to take our dude out of Grand Prairie. We'll try to take this kid out of Louisiana. That's just the way it works. All right. They shouldn't mess with the bull. They're going to get the horns. LSU is trying to recruit my Texas players. But that's going to be the first bye week, so obviously week 0. And that's going to head us here into week 1. And look at this. We are pretty much first for most of these guys. Now we have dropped down to second, or I don't even want to say dropped, but pretty much maintained and even possibly moved up to second on some of them. But it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to see what happens with those recruits. Now, before we jump into the season, let's take a look at this roster at the offensive side. And while we are taking a look at our starting quarterback, Arch Manning, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not hit it already, ladies and gentlemen. Plenty of college football 26 content coming up, as we'll also have Madden content when that arrives. This season we'll have Madden. And we are going to be bringing you Road to Glory as well, so stay tuned for that. Now, looking at Arch, look at throw power is 97. Short, mid, and deep accuracy is all pretty incredibly high. Now, as funny as they have Wisner above Baxter, and I'm not sure what that spawns off of. They have a pretty good mix of ratings above and below each other. Ball carrier vision, for some reason, is that much bigger for Wisner, although I think Baxter, in reality, has a lot better ball carrying. They gave Gibson the most speed. I don't see that. Baxter should have the most speed, then Wisner. Gibson's got the most strength. But, hey, you know what? Can't stress about it. All right, it's a video game. We can fix stuff. There are formation subs. We'll just have to go through and work on that throughout the season. Now, DeAndre Moore, coming in as a number 1 receiver, 87. I don't know about that. Ryan Wingo, I think, probably would actually be the number 1. Although DeAndre can make some hellacious catches. I think we all have seen that happen plenty in real life. But Wingo does have the speed. He's got that breakaway kind of speed. It's going to be hard to catch him. If we can get him out in a little bit of space on a deep ball, I think we can drop that one right into him. Because he's going to be one of those players that's hard to overthrow. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's going to be for him. Looking at the tight ends, Jack Indry's taken over the number 87. It's a pretty beastly number to wear as a Longhorn tight end, and we'll see if he's going to earn it or not, as he comes in as a starting tight end for the first time. 92 overall with 83 speed, 85 acceleration. But his awareness is 94. That's what's crazy to see. So Gooseby, gotta love seeing Gooseby, sophomore red shirt. And I mean, I'm a big fan of that kid, even in real life, what he was able to do, stepping in. At times he's had to step in for the Longhorns on the left side of the line, the hardest position to play. He truly is, I think, ready to have a pretty powerful couple seasons ahead of him. DJ Campbell, senior leader on this offensive line, coming in at the left guard position. You know, you can't say enough about the kid as well. Same thing with Cole Hudson, the center. They've been there since the beginning. They are the anchors of this offensive line. So now let's take a look at the right side of our line here, as we've seen the center side, or center of it. Now, they're seniors, so you see their deal breakers gone. I don't worry about that for seniors. It's the juniors that kind of bothers me a little bit. Umo Zulu coming in on the right guard, 81 junior red shirt. We got some youngsters behind them. So I think we're building up depth very well here for us. And then Brandon Baker off the right tackle, 80 overall. You know, 85 strength. I wish it was a little bit higher. 85 strength, but 87 pass block and 89 pass block power. The kid's got capability to try to keep Arch off the dirt. So it should be an interesting way this shapes out this season. So this is what the offensive side of the roster looks like. Like I said, I'm an offensive coordinator. You want to see the defense? Go find a defensive coordinator or look at their roster the same. We are going to be jumping into the start of the season in the next episode, everybody, where we will be on the road in Columbus, Ohio, taking on the Buckeyes. Number 1 Longhorns versus number 3 Buckeyes to start off the next episode, to start off the season, to start off the coaching career as a coordinator for Travis Ray Steeleman, our new coach in the family here at Champion Sons Gaming. So it's going to be fun. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't hit it already, everybody. And I will see y'all in the next video. So as always, stay safe. And, well, you know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.